From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your evening update.
Dennis's Heating and Air Conditioning is Northern California's premier heating and air conditioning contractor. From residential housing, large commercial projects, installation to repair, sheet metal fabrication, and everything in between, we are your go-to heating and air conditioning specialist.
Well, yet another gorgeous day out there today. No big surprises there. Now, temperatures are going to start to drop by tomorrow. The cooling trend starts tomorrow. Still a pleasant day temperature-wise for your Friday, but going into the weekend, significantly cooler. We're going to see about a 20-degree drop plus, really, in some areas from today going into the weekend. So quite a drop in those temperatures. Now, the wet weather returns tomorrow as well. For most of us, and I think everyone's going to see some form of rain, just a lot more rain than others, at least for tomorrow. And then looks like a little bit more widespread rain for many of us as we go into your Saturday. Now, chances for isolated thunderstorms will be kind of included in the mix as well, especially for tomorrow and Saturday, slimmer chances Sunday. And then dry with near normal highs going into next week. So kind of up and down with those temperatures. Here's your neighborhood at a glance. And of course, yeah, we're breaking away from those 80s for the valley. I think we may struggle to even get to 70 for some of us, but still pleasant temperatures. Now, there's a chance for showers in the valley, but I think most of the rain tomorrow is going to be on the north coast, including the inland areas and Trinity County, western Siskiyou County, so say places like Mount Shasta westward into say places like Happy Camp, for example. Modoc County, I think we'll see a chance for showers, and then in the eastern mountains as well. The valley, not as much. At least that's what it's looking like at this point, which we'll get into a little bit later. Let's take you into your neighborhood forecast to kind of changing the new format here. So if you just want a quick forecast, what to expect for tomorrow, you can start right here. Taking a look at your neighborhood forecast, yeah, temperatures are dropping. You can also take a look at those 7-day forecasts for each region as well. For the coast, we are looking at off and on chances for rain through Sunday, drying out by early next week with highs in the mid-50s along the coast. And really not much of a temperature spread between the coast and inland, with basically mid to upper 50s to around the low 60s for some of the warmer spots inland. Your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast, 66 out in Happy Camp, but Weed only getting a high of about 60. Mount Shasta City about 62 and Dunsmuir about 63. Your Modoc County neighborhood forecast, also much cooler for those daytime highs. 62 degrees for Cedarville, 61 degrees for Tule Lake, and Aden, about 61. How about your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast? Well, about 65 for Westwood, 60 in Chester, and 64 degrees in Paradise. And we take you to your Valley neighborhood forecast, brought to you by NorCal Tractor. Yeah, instead of those 80s we've been experiencing, how about right around 70, give or take? A high of about 69 for Redding, 61 for Whiskeytown, and 65 degrees out in Lakehead. All right, so let's take a look at that roller coaster ride of those temperatures here. There you can see, of course, that cooler air. This is what's diving down tomorrow. Now, the core of this colder air is actually going to be to the west of us. So this is where the coldest air is. That's why in the valley, I'm expecting right around 70, give or take. And of course, cooler in the mountains as we saw. Then that colder air will shift eastward and then move over us. Now, it will moderate by the time it moves over us, but still looking at significantly cooler temperatures. In the valley, looking at temperatures now, looks like closer to the low 60s, and maybe some of the cooler spots only in the upper 50s in the valley. Now, that will move out, but another shot of cold air comes in from the north. Now, the core of that colder air stays to our north, and the core of the warmer air stays to our west. So we're kind of trapped between the two. That will keep our temperatures from getting too cold or too warm. And quite honestly, it's going to be just right, with temperatures probably somewhere in the low 70s in the valley here, taking you through next week. All right, so that's what it looks like. Now, for the most part, looks fairly dry as well. All right, so here's your 10-day trend. Again, there's that drop for the valley before we kind of level out just above normal through next week, and maybe even warmer going into that next weekend. All right, so here's a look at Futurecast. As we take you to tomorrow morning at about 8 a.m., there's that cold front. You see how we're seeing the rain just beginning to hit the coast. So I think for your morning commute on the coast, a little wet, but dry for everyone else. However, you see this right here? This could be in the form of some drizzle, sprinkles, maybe some light showers, but the bulk of it looks to be to the west tomorrow morning. All right, so we take you into the noon hour. Okay, so now we're starting to see that band of clouds that I was just pointing out, maybe turning more into some showers here. But look at where most of the rain is again, mainly off to the west. So you'll notice we're kind of seeing these bands, right? You see a band of rain here, it dries out. You see a band right here, dry, and then another light band, all right? So this trend, we're seeing this flow coming in from the south. Now, the forecast models are probably going to move these bands a little bit more to the west or east, depending on the latest forecast model data. So here's the thing. As we take you through the day, even going into Friday, you see what happens? We're just not seeing much based on Futurecast for the valley. If we were to look at this and just kind of base and 100% look at that, we'd say it's going to be a dry day in the valley for your Friday, actually, because most of the rain is to the east, most of the rain is then off to the west. However, we can't rule out the chance for some showers, maybe even some thunderstorms for the valley as we go through the day tomorrow, because this band, maybe it'll be a little bit more to the west as we look at the latest forecast model data. So here's the bottom line. If you have plans tomorrow, be sure to watch the latest forecast early tomorrow morning, which uploads around 5 o'clock in the morning. And even better yet, watch Coffee with Kruger 6:30 tomorrow morning live, where we'll look at that latest forecast model data as well. But this is where it stands right now. And here's what I'm thinking at this point through the day tomorrow. Most of the rain, I think, will be west of the valley. Trinity County, western Siskiyou County, and for Del Norte and Humboldt counties. I think that's where the bulk of the rain will be tomorrow. I think we'll also be looking at a decent amount of rain just east of the valley, right? So places like parts of Lassen, Plumas, and even parts of Modoc County as well. But not as much rainfall is anticipated at this point for the valley. But then things kind of change over after that. You see that flow kind of coming around that area of low pressure coming in from the south. So 10 o'clock Friday night, now we're seeing more of that widespread rain. But keep in mind, when we're seeing these lighter shades of green, that's just some light rain. So it's not going to be terribly heavy. It's a little bit heavier to the west and even east of the valley. By the way, snow levels still mainly above 6,000 feet. Again, we're seeing that flow coming in from the south. You see how it's kind of widespread, light showers, drizzle. Kind of that steady light rain that we've seen sometimes in the valley. I think we'll see that here for Friday night into Saturday morning. But now, look at the coast on Saturday. It's dry in the morning based on Futurecast. Now, as we see that flow come around that area of low pressure, I think through the day on Saturday, the coast could see some showers, but I don't think it's going to be a lot on Saturday, just the overcast skies and a few scattered showers. I think most of it's going to be to the north and east and even parts of the valley. And by the way, also a chance for thunderstorms on Saturday as well. Okay, now we go into Saturday afternoon about 5 p.m. Again, you see how it starts to fill in a little bit more to the west for the coast and Trinity County, the mountains, and not to mention the valley. And there's that snow. It is dropping, by the way, on Saturday, maybe down to about 5,000 to 6,000 feet. We'll kind of gradually see those snow levels drop through the weekend, but I don't anticipate for us to see major impacts. However, there may be some chain requirements over some of those higher mountain passes as we go into Saturday afternoon east of I-5, and not to mention into Sunday morning as well. So again, be sure to watch tomorrow morning for the latest forecast model data, but that's where it stands right now. Now, taking a look at Saturday into Sunday. So here's Sunday. You see how the low pressure system's diving down to the south. So as we go through the day on Sunday, chances for rain, and not to mention mountain snow, will diminish throughout the day. Then it looks like we'll dry things out for Monday, Tuesday of next week. But what I've got my eyes on for early next week is this area of low pressure. Number one, it's going to keep our temperatures at bay. Now, not as cool as what we'll see over the weekend. As remember I said for the valley over the weekend, we're talking around 60 degrees. I think we'll see about a 10-degree increase going into Monday, Tuesday. But this is what's going to prevent us from getting much warmer than that. Now, there's some snow, there's some rain associated with that area of low pressure. And with that said, I think the main headline with this low pressure is the fact that it's what we call an inside slider. As it moves to the north and east of us, we see some gusty winds at times, more of a nuisance wind. I don't think these will be damaging winds, but more of a nuisance wind going into Monday, Tuesday, and maybe even into Wednesday of next week with that flow around that area of low pressure. Now, with all that said, you see how it's fairly dry? We could see a stray disturbance hit parts of eastern Siskiyou County and maybe Modoc County. So extreme northeastern California could see a chance for a stray shower Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, but nothing to really write home about. Right? Once that moves out, we've still got some colder air staying over the Pacific Northwest. What that's doing is preventing the ridge of high pressure and the warmer air to our south and west from moving in. And that's going to keep our temperatures fairly stagnant. I'm expecting, as you saw in that long-range forecast, for the valley, temperatures somewhere in the low to possibly even mid-70s. Now, we look at the rainfall outlook. These are just estimates. These will change with each forecast model run. But I think about 1/4 to 1/2 inch is possible in the valley once all is said and done when you combine Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You see, we do have some higher amounts for some of us in the higher elevations, in particular around Mount Shasta City and Weaverville and Hayfork into Trinity County. That's where I think we'll see some heavier rainfall. So we look at the wave heights going into your Friday. They're actually dropping. So the small craft advisory will be allowed to expire. But notice as we go into your Saturday, yeah, those wave heights are starting to increase. We'll probably see another small craft advisory Friday night going into your Saturday. All right, here's your marine forecast for your Friday. South winds at 5 to 10 knots. There will be those rain showers. As I mentioned, we'll eventually see those wave heights begin to increase as we go into Saturday. So for tonight, what we're going to start to see happen is the clouds will start to increase overnight into early tomorrow morning. And depending on how much cloud cover we see will depend on these temperatures. So these temperatures may vary depending on whether or not you do see that cloud cover move on in. But for the most part, I think we should stay above freezing in the mountains, for all of the mountains, and in the valley staying in the low to maybe even mid-50s. So a mild start to your day, but of course a wetter start to your day, especially for places along the coast, not to mention into Trinity County, and not to mention the eastern mountains as well, and a slight chance for showers through the day on Friday for the valley. But look at the temperatures. I mean, not that bad. Yes, we're seeing about a 10-degree drop, but around 70 is still not that bad temperature-wise. Even for the mountains, not too terribly cold in the low 60s. Mid to upper 50s out along the coast. All right, so let's take a look at your 7-day outlook, and there you have it. I've got that chance for showers in there for Redding tomorrow. Okay, so as I said, I think most of it will be on the coast, and not to mention east of the valley as well. Saturday is when I think the bulk of the rain will be here for the valley. Then on Sunday, you got that chance for showers, right? But it's starting to diminish through the day. And then Monday through Thursday, we're looking at drier conditions, low 70s through the middle of next week, maybe even getting warmer by the end of next week.